Alrighty, everybody, welcome into the high noon stream for today, Friday afternoon. I am Pugs Moran. We do this every Monday through Friday. Hold on, let me make sure we got the chat working. Okay, where's all my chat people at? What's going on here? Why are we only, hold on. Where's my numbers? There's 1, 2, 3. I hate this. I hate that. I get so confused. The number says that there's 2 listeners and then like 3 people chime in the chat room. And I'm like, well, why does it still say 3? Why is it still? Oh, there we go. Now we're climbing. All right, let's get in the chat room. Come on, people. I'll wait for you to pull up your seats. Oh, we got Full Metal Leslie on a Friday. I like that. We got the Gladback and we got the Collins. That's stuff going to happen in here today. All right, take your seats in the chat room. We'll get started here. This is High Noon. We do this every Monday through Friday, noon till whenever. Today's a kids' weekend Friday. Very excited. You guys, have you been outside today? Oh my, I did all my show prep on the back porch. Surrounded by big trees and singing birds. And this is weather. Is this like the 1 or 2 days a year that we have here in Texas where it's like, okay, this is why they stayed. This is why in the 1830s, when people started making their way west, and they got, today's the day when they probably showed up and went, hey, this is pretty nice. Is it going to be like this all the time? And they stayed. This is perfect. What are we looking at here today? Yesterday was perfect too. I apologize for yesterday's show not being on, but they're doing they're putting new power lines up behind my house. So they turned the power off yesterday for about 6 hours. But here's the thing, you have concerns. You live here. You're like, wait, you're going to turn the power off for like 7 hours in September in Texas? Are you kidding? So I was obviously concerned about air conditioning and about the place, but it was gorgeous yesterday. It was like 78 degrees, sunny. I had the windows open. I aired this place out, which is good because it gets a little stuffy in here. And I know that it gets a little stuffy in here because when my kid shows up, like he will this afternoon at some point, when my kid shows up, he walks in and goes, open a window, smelling stuffy. So, now it's nice. It's very nice. I cleaned. You know what I did? That's what I did with my time yesterday. I just cleaned. I used actual like cleaning products, which is good. Wiped down everything. So, all right, I'm feeling pretty good about the status of the house right now. It's very clean. Typically what happens is I will clean the day before my kid gets here. And then my kid just proceeds over the next 72 hours to destroy everything. Candy wrappers, he'll eat. It's not even supposed to be eating candy, but he'll smuggle some candy in. Candy wrappers, just tosses them on the floor. Can't get up. Well, I'll just pick it up when I leave. No, but see, here's the thing. You don't pick them up. You just step over the wrappers you threw on the floor. He's 13. Well, what do you want? What do you want? He's 13. That's how 13-year-olds are. At least I know that's how I was, so I can't really be that angry. All right, let's get into what we do here on the show. We give you all the day's hot topics, trends, headlines, current events, whatever it is that people are buzzing about. I try to give it to you here at noon every Monday through Friday. Why is this not charged? I've got another charging issue. I swear, none of the power cords for any of the electronic equipment that I have, including my cell phone, work 100%. I think the best one is my cell phone charger. That's probably 60%. And only when I angle it properly. Like I'll plug it into the charger and then I'll have to like tilt it a certain way for it to go boop, boop, like for it to start charging. And then the other problem I have with phone chargers is don't tell me when it's charging, or tell me when it's charging, but also tell me when it stops charging. Like instead of just having a sound effect on my phone that goes boop, boop, when I plug it in and it's charging and then I put it down and walk away, let me know 45 seconds later when it decides to not charge anymore. Make it go bop, bop, or something like that, right? I mean, come on, help us out here. These cords, these phone charging cords are so sketchy. And then all the other cords for the laptops and stuff like that, they just don't charge. You can plug in and you can work on plug-in power, but forget about it. You got to jiggle with it. You got to rotate. Oh God, it's such a pain in the ass. Telling you, we weren't ready for this technology. Well, we were ready for the technology. What we weren't ready for is to become entirely dependent on it because it's not perfected. It's not. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Oh, fun fact. I just want to make sure that everybody is okay. All of my sick, twisted friends like Jeff Glenn and Jeff Ballard, they're defending Dahmer. No, that's fine. No. Hey, that's something that you can watch and not think there's anything wrong with it. That's a you thing. That's a you thing. And my thing is different. And you and I are different. And that's all we'll say about it. Obviously, people are watching. Most... I don't want to get into the whole Dahmer thing. But, if you're into all that homoerotic gore porn, which is what it is, hey, that's okay. For me, just a little too much. But watch it. I don't know if people are watching it. It is true that Netflix has completely buried that show. You can't find it on any of their recommended picks. You can find it on the top, but it's in the top 10. Yeah, that's not Netflix, dude. That's people watch. So it was in the top 10 because people were watching it because it was, I don't think it's in the top 10 anymore, though. I think it's dropped. And then, it's not on the banner. Like when you first go into Netflix, the day it came out, I think they were promoting it, and then it went away. So, all right. That's fine. You can like it. You can like the Dahmer miniseries. And I will keep my judgment of you as a human being for enjoying that kind of thing to myself. I'll keep it to myself. You do you. That's all. Just remember, I now know that you're into some pretty creepy shit. But I also feel that way about people who are obsessed with slasher movies. I know people who are like, I love slasher movies. Oh, you're weird. You are so weird. How do you get entertainment from that? Because I'm broken? Yeah, it is. It's a sign that you're broken. If you enjoy that, then yeah, you're broken. What? You just calling all the people who like slasher flicks broken? And stupid, because they're almost always dumb movies. Slasher flicks. I don't know. It's a stupid movie. I don't want to watch this. It's the same damn story. Bunch of teenagers go off in the woods for a weekend, and then suddenly they all end up that's original. Hey, you know what? If you're going to be one of those dudes, be one of the first ones. Be first through the door. Jack the Ripper, okay? On this day in 1888, Jack the Ripper kills his third and fourth victims. Jack the Ripper. You know what I didn't do? I didn't do my opening. No, this is high noon, right? Is this high noon? September. What is today's date? Is this right? Yeah, it is right. Okay, today is September the 30th. It is the 273rd day of the year. There are 92 days remaining until the end of the year. I just told you about on this day in 1888, when Jack the Ripper kills his third and fourth victims, Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes. I don't know if these women wanted to be known for their prostitution work, but now they're legendary prostitutes, Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes. On this day in 1935, the Hoover Dam, astride the borders between the U.S. states of Arizona and Nevada, is dedicated. Isn't that one of the man-made wonders of the world or something like that? One of the other man-made wonders of the world. I know one of the other man-made wonders of the world, because there was a thing apparently Tucker Carlson, when he's not taking the side of the Russians against American interests throughout the world, he was blasting like the Indian people in India. He was saying something about because the Indian people were cool with the death of Queen Elizabeth. You know the story? They were like not cool with it, but they were like, yeah, she's done. And from their perspective, the colonization of India took place just a couple of generations ago. It was happening not quite as far back as the American Revolution and all that. But the Indian people, they got no love. The modern Indian person has no love for the Queen, right? So Tucker was defending that. And Tucker said something like he made some rant. And this is what he does. He does what James does. And I've been pointing this out with James. James will have a thought that is based in nothing, no fact, just his opinion based on where he sits in the world. He'll have this thought and he'll put it out there so confidently that if you're listening, you're like, oh, yeah, he obviously knows what he's talking about. I don't know this, but he's so confident. So he does it. Tucker Carlson does this. It's a little trick. Tucker Carlson went on a rant about how the people in India have never built anything as beautiful as the buildings that the colonial British built during colonial rule of it, going on, showing examples of ugly. He went and found the ugliest Indian apartment, and he showed those. And he's like, they've never done anything beautiful. They can't build. So that was basically, he was talking about the gifts that the British colonials gave to India, to which somebody immediately responded, oh, yeah, you mean aside from the Taj Mahal, which was like, yeah. Right? Aside from the Taj Mahal, one of the man-made wonders of the world, created by an Indian dude, not a British colonial, work team. They didn't put that up. So it's just, but he said that, but he says it confidently, and his listeners who aren't thinking about the Taj Mahal go, yeah, he's right. They can't build anything over there in India. And then you look at the Taj Mahal. On this day in 1938, Britain, France, Germany, and Italy signed the Munich Agreement, whereby Germany annexes the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia. Well, that stuck in their craw. They didn't like that. It was one of the first things that they wanted to take back. That nothing pissed off the emerging Nazi party in Germany quite like this accommodation. 1938, that happened. 1939, NBC broadcast the first televised American football game. You know what it was? Probably thinking Chicago Bears, Canton Bulldog, Green Bay Packers, Akron Express, something like that. You're thinking, no. The first football game ever televised on this day in 1939. The Fordham Rams taking on Waynesburg State. Never even heard of Waynesburg State. Fordham Rams defeated Waynesburg State 34-7. First football game ever televised. Wasn't even competitive. It was just a blowout. Just not even a good game. It was on this day in 1968, the Boeing 747 is rolled out and shown to the public for the very first time. Probably had really nice ashtrays and it was just wait, what year was that? 68. So there's no way that first generation Boeing 747s are still in the air. Not a chance. But there you go. It all started 1968. That was one of my problems with flying Southwest like 20 years ago. Like when I'd get on a Southwest plane and it still had ashtrays. I was like, oh God, this is an old plane. This is an old plane. I want a new plane. I want a plane that isn't accommodating to smokers. I want a plane that was made in the era after they realized probably not a good idea to let people spark up inside a hollowed out aluminum tube filled with jet airplane fuel at 30,000 feet. I want a plane that was built after that realization. I don't think there are any planes. Trust me, if you guys fly a lot, I don't fly a lot, but if you guys fly a lot, let me know. Send me a line. Send me a picture of the ashtray. No way, right? 20 years ago, they were still, had planes with ashtrays. No way. I tell you what, I wouldn't feel comfortable on a plane in 2022 if it had ashtrays in the seat rests. Nope. Let's see. Let's do some birthdays. Nothing else happened. Excuse me, dry cough. Oh, wait, I didn't even mention. Did I mention the big news? The big news. And don't be worried, people, please. Don't panic. This is ultimately this is not only is this fine, but this is good. And it was known about. I just haven't said anything about it. There are no mansplaining shows this weekend. That's right. Normally heard Saturday and Sunday nights, 9 to 11 on 97.1. Not even sure what they're calling it these days. Normally heard Saturday and Sunday nights, 9 to 11. Mansplaining will not air this weekend, but I suggest you give it a tune in. See what they're doing. see what they're doing there this weekend at 97.1. Don't worry. Don't worry. Mom, Don't worry. We've known about this. We've known about this for quite some time. Don't worry. This is all according to plan. Seriously, it is. It is. It's not like we got a call last night. 2 weeks ago, we knew that this weekend we were going to be off. We just didn't say anything about it because if we had said something about it earlier, people would be like, well, why are you going to be? And it just... Context clues, if you're a local radio watcher, should tell you that it's not necessarily a bad thing that we're not going to be on this weekend. So just hold your breath and, we'll be fine. But thank you. Big news, you have cancer? What a terrible thing to say. Jeff Glenn, what is wrong with you lately? By the way, you're going to want to walk the dog because there are a couple of stories that are trending today that have football in the main title. However, I promise the rest of you, it's not going to be football talk. It's not going to be X's and O's and how are the Cowboys going to... That's not what... So just be prepared, Jeff. Get your dog ready because you're going to need to take a walk because Jeff's little ears can't even hear the word foot and ball put together without going, I don't like sports talk. Okay. Should we call in and express displeasure at your absence? I don't believe you'll be able to call in. I don't believe that'll be an option for you. No, I appreciate that, Jeff, but no, don't you worry. Look, everything is fine. Everything is fine. What did Byron say? Jeff is wishing cancer on me. Jeff is anticipating a big cancer announcement. What the hell? And then Byron said, damn, Jeff. And then Jeff Ballard said, damn, that was too cold for even Byron and I. Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. That's right. You don't joke about cancer. What the hell's wrong with you? Cancer kills our grandmas. Don't joke about cancer. I mean, it didn't kill my grandma. Killed my grandpa, but that was after a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, where were we? So yeah, no show this weekend. Also, while I got you here, tip the show. This is the last day. This is the last day that we're going to rely on tips. Thank you to I'm telling you, somebody. Thank you so much to who's my guy? Who's the guy that hooked us up last night? He gave us a nice little tip last night that I really appreciate. I want to make sure I thank him. What? Why am I? Let's take a second. You can support the show. Like I said, we've needed this year and month. I guess this was the month we started, or maybe August was the month we started. We've needed this year. We've needed you to be supportive, and you have, and that ends this month because we believe that we're going to be able to move forward. I want to thank Leslie C. I want to thank Leslie M. The Leslies take care of the show. Thank you so much. Dropping a little something in the tip jar this week. Also would like to thank Joel Murray. Thank you so much, Joel. Joel Murray thinking about us. And as I say that, Joel Burnson. Thank you, Joel. We got Joels. We got Joels and Leslies, man. Joels and Leslies helping the show get through the finish line. Today's the last day. And then, as I say, moving forward, the show won't be affected. We'll still be doing the shows. You can tip if you want, but there won't be these kinds of, and we actually need it kind of deals. You know what I mean? Tips will be accepted for, you just feeling like you want to throw a little something. And that's fine. That's great. But up until this point, you guys have been needed, and you're still needed just through the rest of this day. You know, we could do with raising about another $50. That would be good. That would get us through the finish line. And it's such an incremental amount. I'm sure that we'll get there because you guys always gets us through. So thank you. If you can tip the show, we'd appreciate that. Venmo, PayPal, even Cash App, and then we're going to hang up this portion of the show. No more of that. So thank you to my Joels. Thank you to my Leslies. There will come a time, like I said, I've kept all of these. All of these come in emails. You know, once somebody tips something, it gets forwarded to the email, and then I've made a special category of email file, I guess you call it. And so everybody that has ever tipped this show is on there. And I know, look, it has essentially been the same 15 people that have made this show go. Thank you so much. And like I said, there's going to be something because because it's not like hundreds of people. We're not a big show yet. We will be. Trust me. Just give me a little bit of time here. We're on to big things. I was saying that we should definitely do something for the people who have show. I'm thinking a pool party. I'm thinking, why not? One of these times when the master of the house goes out of town, or maybe he'll want to host it. I don't know, but maybe one of these times we'll just we'll have ourselves a pool party, a little barbecue, a little cookout. Maybe we'll have a live audience here in the guest house of people who supported the show through this year. But thank you. Today is the last day. Today is the last day that we're going to be needing to waste your time with these kinds of pitches. And thank you again to everybody who got us to this place in order to be able to take the next step, which we are doing. All right, let's get into some birthdays. Let's talk about some people who celebrated birthdays today. 1924, Truman Capote, American novelist, playwright, and screenwriter. He died in 1984. It's funny, we were just talking about Dahmer, and one of the reasons that I don't like Dahmer is because I'm completely anti-Ryan Murphy now. I used to love Ryan Murphy. I used to think Ryan Murphy was a brilliant showrunner. I mean, first season of American Horror Story House is genius. Nip Tuck was genius. And then he sort of changed direction and he started doing like The People versus O.J. Simpson was great. He did Glee, all of these things. But then ever since Glee, and actually ever since maybe The People versus O.J. Simpson, Ryan Murphy has just engaged in the most uncomfortable slasher type nonsense. I'm not a fan of it. And I said, that tells me that's like some weird, to be able to do Glee and then be able to do like the Andrew Cunanan thing or the Dahmer thing, the recent thing, to go from Glee to that tells me that there's a duality there inside what he's entertained by, because Glee was like the most wholesome all-American thing. And then the other, Truman Capote was kind of the same way. Truman Capote did Breakfast at Tiffany's and In Cold Blood. It's like Truman Capote was a weird dude. Born on this day in 1924. Born on this day in 1931, Angie Dickinson. Oh my God. Corrado Jr. soprano loved Angie Dickinson. And Angie Dickinson was, I'm rewatching The Sopranos now for the fourth time through. Corrado loves Angie Dickinson. In his fantasies, he marries Angie Dickinson. Angie Dickinson was funny because not funny. She was a hot young girl who somehow, as like a total unknown, like a bit player in movies, started hanging out with the Rat Pack. And like, why not? She was gorgeous. Angie Dickinson was really hot back in like 1965. And then she turned 40 and the Rat Pack didn't want to hang out with her anymore because she's 40. And even though they were 60, and then she had started Policewoman. Remember Policewoman with Angie Dickinson? But she was like kind of famous before that for sort of being one of the hot young girls hanging out with the Rat Pack. It's so weird. I mean, that would be like if like today, like George Clooney and Brad Pitt had like, a little run it, like Matt Damon, these guys are all hanging out and they're all like, in their 50s and 60s. And, they're swirling around with like Selena Gomez. No, even younger. Like you have to be even younger. You have to be. Although, isn't Brad Pitt hooked up now with Emily Ratajkowski? But that's not bad. She's like 31. I don't know. I don't want to get into the what's appropriate math, because that all gets skewed when you're talking about big A-list celebrities. Born on this day in 1947, Mark Bolin, English singer, songwriter, and guitarist, died in 1977. Mark Bolin of T-Rex, considered another one of these guys that if he hadn't been stupid and OD'd because, he didn't keep his eye on the ball, Mark Bolin today may have been discussed in the same way that we discuss people like David Bowie. Mark Bolin influenced David Bowie more than any other. T-Rex, they were glam, they were gender bending, they were so ahead of their time, and then he died. Mark Bolin, born on this day in 1947. Born on this day in 1957, Fran Drescher, American actress, producer, and screenwriter, The Nanny. We all like Fran Drescher, right? I wonder what she looks like now. She had that voice. She had that voice that they said, you'll never become a star with that voice. And then she became a star because of that voice. So, people don't know. Born on this day in 1961, Eric Stoltz, American actor, director, and producer. Mask, the kid from Mask. But he also did a bunch, he did a movie called Killing Zoe in the 90s that was really good. What else did Eric Stoltz do? Just Mask. You think of him in Mask. Bridget Fonda, I think of him as like Bridget Fonda's girlfriend. He and Bridget Fonda were like a big hot item back in the 90s. Tony Hale, born on this day in 1970. Tony Hale. I love me some Tony Hale, man. Tony Hale is hysterical. Tony Hale was, first of all, he's Buster on Arrested Development. And then he did like 10 years on Veep as Julie Louis-Dreyfus's body man. He was very good in that. I just saw Buster last night. I just saw Tony Hale in a before Arrested Development, before Veep, before all the other things that he's done where we see and we go, oh, that's Buster. He played, look at this, second mention for Corrado Soprano. He played Corrado Soprano's chemotherapy nurse in The Sopranos. And he had no lines. He was just, hooking Junior Soprano, Corrado, hooking Junior up to the machine. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Buster. And look at him. He's got hair. Tony Hale has hair. Happy birthday to you, Tony Hale. You're hysterical. I love you. Born on this day in 1971, Jenna Elfman. She was Dharma. Remember Dharma and Greg? She was super famous for 3 years. And then we haven't heard anything about Jenna Elfman since forever. Wasn't a big fan. She kind of bugged me. She bugged me with her weird hippie dip. Oh God. I don't, whatever. Seems like a nice woman. I don't want to go to dinner with her. I don't want to, she's going to say stuff that is going to irritate me. And then it's going to be awkward. So let's just not, honey, cancel dinner plans with Jenna Elfman. We're not going to dinner with her. Born on this day in 1982, Kieran Culkin, American actor. Roman Roy on Succession. Kieran Culkin is awesome. Kieran Culkin, of course, little brother of Macaulay Culkin. It's like Hollywood is so cruel. Hollywood went, all right, we got the Culkin family. Let's make one super famous between the ages of 8 and 15. And they went, eeny, meeny, miny, Macaulay. All right, we'll make Macaulay Culkin super famous, one of the most famous people in the world. And then as soon as he hits puberty, let's be like, yeah, next. All right, we need a Culkin to play someone as an adult. Well, why don't we just use Macaulay since everybody already knows him? Well, nah, let's not do that. Let's just keep him in the trash bin of life. Are there any other of those laying around? Yeah, we got a Kieran. And so now Kieran has the career as a grown-up actor. Macaulay can't get work. Macaulay gets work, but it's the kind of work that is specifically designed for you to go, oh my God, Macaulay Culkin's in a movie. You know what I mean? It's not like he's quietly getting work where he's building a resume and it's wow, he's really turned into a good adult actor. Nah, that's not really the case. But for Kieran, it is. Kieran Culkin as Roman Roy on Succession is so good. He is so great. Just a total misanthrope, a rich little prince of the city who's a complete dick. I mean, oh God, is he a great character. That show has so many great characters. At some point, maybe when it debuts again, when the new season comes out, but that's a few months away, we'll do a Succession character draft. Oh, that'll be so hard to do. Because they're all so great. Every character on that show is so freaking great. I have no idea who I like best. Yeah, well. But I'll tell you this. Roman Roy is probably in the top 5. Definitely in the top 5. Possibly top 3. Greg the Egg and Tom. I think they might be 1 and 2. Greg the Egg. Cousin Greg the Egg. And Tom, they might be 1, 2. And then Roman might be 3. I don't know. We'll see. Kieran Culkin, happy birthday to you. Born on this day in 1982. So what would he be? He'd be 32. 40? He's 40? Kieran Culkin is 40. Wow. Born on this day in 1984. T-Pain, American rapper, producer, and actor. T-Pain popularized the whole... he wasn't the first to do it, but he took it to new heights, right? The voice, where they sing like that, and now just about every other rap song is like that. T-Pain. I don't know much about T-Pain. I'm trying to think if there's anything that sticks out about T-Pain. I know he's from Tallahassee. I know that's what the T stands for. Tallahassee Pain. I know that. T-Pain. Born on this day in 1992. Here's a guy. Here's a guy who's been in the news lately, and he's been quiet for about a month. I think they put him in a box, buried him underground, and said, we're going to keep you out of the spotlight for a good 6 months so that we don't have to lose all the money that we've invested on making you the Flash. And that's Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is celebrating a birthday today. He's a crazy person. They are a crazy person. He's been in and out of trouble over the past 6 months. There's been a lot of pearl clutching there with the DC Universe producers. They don't know what they're going to do. He's the Flash. They got Flash movies they want to make. And the guy that they're going to put up there as a hero is like a douchebag. Is like a total douchebag that everybody knows is an asshole. So Ezra, I think he's under the care now of the studio system where they will lock him away. And then they'll debut the new Flash movie in a few months. And nobody will remember anything because we have a 48-hour, maybe the more engaged people have a 72-hour lifespan on these things. But yeah, if he stays clean for the next couple of months, we'll be like, oh, that was years ago. No, it wasn't. It was just a couple months ago when he was an asshole. Oh, he's fine. All right, just throw him out there. Go ahead. No big deal. How about some deaths? We got some deaths that we're going to mourn on this day. On this day in 2003, the patriarch of America's royal family passed away on this day. Of course, I'm talking about Robert Kardashian, American lawyer and businessman. He was OJ's best friend. Robert Kardashian, years before we had ever heard the name Kardashian, he appeared on our TV screens on the day that OJ ran. Remember the night OJ ran in the white Bronco? Well, it was Robert Kardashian who walked up to the microphones and read whatever note it was or something. That's when he became famous. Portrayed by David Schwimmer in The People versus O.J. Simpson, Robert Kardashian. And there you have it, Robert Kardashian. He's the Kardashian dad. Dad Kardashian. Boy, saying the name Kardashian just got me right into my Chicagoese. He's the Kardashian dad. Monty Hall died on this day in 2017. Let's make a deal. Monty Hall, American game show host, born in 1921. Monty Hall, if you had a TV in the 1970s, you watched Let's Make a Deal. Not Let's Make a Deal. No, is it Let's Make a Deal? Yeah, it is. It was Let's Make a Deal. I didn't like that show. I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought that show was a little bit silly. Even at like 8 years old, I was like, I don't like this show. Yeah. You know what I liked? You know what game shows I liked at 8? Tic-Tac-Doe. Joker's Wild. I like the trivia games because at least there was some measurement there that, I knew something that nobody else in the room did, and you can feel good. Let's Make a Deal was just stupid. It was, who's got a comb with 3 teeth missing? I'll give you $50. And then people would reach into their purse and I've got a comb with 2, snap, 3 teeth missing, All right, Monty Hall. Seemed like a good dude. Fun show, I guess. Just wasn't really a game show that I enjoyed. You know other game show I hated? Do you remember that 98-cent beauty pageant? It was hosted by Rip Taylor. There was a time in maybe the early 80s when before primetime started at 6:30 after the local news, there would be a different game show. There was a period of time, like Monday nights would be the Hollywood Squares. Tuesday nights would be the 98-cent beauty pageant. Wednesday nights would be the Gong Show. Like they aired... And man, on the nights that it was the 98-cent I was like, this sucks. Man, I hate this one. Yeah, there you go. Game shows. Let's see, what do we got here? All right, let's jump into all the things that are trending. Let's run through these. Let me see. Big one, Hurricane Ian. Yeah, it's still trending. It's a hurricane. It's a hurricane again. It was a tropical storm for a while as it was over land. It is Category 1 hurricane. It is about 120 miles southwest of Cape Fear in South Carolina. The people in Charleston are getting ready. Category 1. Excuse me. So they're not going to get hit with like the extreme force that Florida took the past couple of days, but it ain't over. It's looping around. Ian's still out there. It went over Florida and now it's going to break a little left and it's going to slam into Charleston. And then over the weekend, you can expect it to disrupt a whole bunch of football games because it's just going to be the entire East Coast of the United States is going to be just rainy all weekend. Florida is also trending. Florida is trending. They're beginning the cleanup there in Florida. Florida's a mess. Not seeing any real numbers on deaths, but there are deaths of obviously billions and billions of dollars in damages. Florida's a mess. It's not a tragedy, though. It's like, oh, the tragedy of Florida. It's not a tragedy. It's a weather event. And you knew it was coming. A tragedy, I think, is when it's unexpected, right? But, it sucks. You live in a place where hurricanes come, and you know that hurricanes could come and wipe out everything you've built over your entire life. So get your insurance in order and, make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted. But man, it's a mess. The pictures in Florida, just gross. And it's always like, it's obvious, like this is an obvious statement, but it's always like the poorest of the people who get this, it's the people who live in tin shacks and, well, what do you expect, I did see something funny. I saw a viral, it was going viral, not yesterday, but the day before. They were talking to someone who was going to stay. And it was a young girl. She's probably like a college student. Actually, no, she didn't seem like she had much college in her, but she was of that age. And she's like, I ain't going anywhere. If it gets bad, I'm just going to hop in my car and I'm going to drive away from it. And I can drive away faster than the hurricane can catch me. And even if I have nowhere to stay, I'll just pull over and I'll pitch a tent. She's like, I'll pitch a tent in a hurricane. This girl doesn't understand what's going on here. Pitch a tent. It's like, I don't know. I don't need to evacuate anywhere further. I can just take a tent with me. And if I can't sleep in my house, I'll just pitch a tent in a hurricane. Not serious, people. All right. So prayers up for the good folks of Florida. Because, God, the bugs, man. They were talking about the things that happen after a hurricane in Florida that, we don't all pay attention to. We look at the destruction. We see the drone footage of entire neighborhoods underwater and towns destroyed. We see that. But what we don't see is what happens over the next 3 months. Apparently, a big problem with hurricanes are fire ants. There will be board. They showed a picture. There was a board, like a 2x4, that was just floating. And it looked like it was a bear in the water. It looked like it wasn't. It was a board with 1 billion fire ants. They had all climbed on this board and they were all stacked on top. Alligators. They're like, yeah, no, we got alligators everywhere. There are. You can't go back. An old woman was looking through her flooded out house and she was in waist deep water. And she's like, I had to wait till today because, I was worried about the alligators. And the reporter's like, you're not worried about the alligators now? And she's like, well, I got to do this. I'm like, she's okay. So there still could be alligators in your garage and you're just going to be moving these. But no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm a city boy. Cities. I can handle rats and street violence. That's fine. I know to avoid that. I know, random. But the idea of just moving somewhere and having the realtor go, oh yeah, you also have alligators in your backyard. So, keep an eye on the kids. What? Why would you live there? Why? I've told you the story. I have a friend who lives in Wisconsin. I was talking to him on the phone once, and he's like, oh, geez, hold on. I got to sit here for a while. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm sitting in my driveway. I go, why are you sitting in your driveway? Why don't you just go inside the house? Because there's a bear in my driveway. I'm like, you live in a place where you can't just pull into your driveway and walk into your house because there's a bear walking around your front. It's like a zoo without the fence. You live in it. Just get out of there. What are you doing? Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. I'm sure it is. You're going to be eaten by a bear at 57, but whatever. Let's see. What else do we have here? NATO, breaking news. NATO is trending. Ukrainian's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country is submitting an accelerated application to join NATO's military alliance. But Ascension to NATO would require the unanimous support of the alliance's members. So that's big news. Apparently, they're trying to fast track them into NATO. But everybody might not vote for it, so it might just be a losing because, you fast track them into NATO, and then suddenly it's a NATO nation that's being attacked, and that ups the ante. So we'll see where that goes. By the way, can I tell you something? I was afraid that I spilled coffee on my cool-ass thrift store Plano work shirt. And I didn't. But here's the deal. This shirt, when I bought it, was tight on me. It was it didn't, there was a button that went, this shirt fits me now. And I haven't been running. I haven't been doing my workouts. But what I have done is over the last 3 weeks, I've gone almost completely vegetarian. Not by design. I'm not a vegetarian. You put a burger in front of me and it looks good, I'll eat the burger. But just health-wise, I felt like I need to start eating better, So I eat a lot of vegetables. I eat a lot of fruit. I eat a lot of baked potatoes, that kind of thing. And when I say almost completely vegetarian, not forever. This is I just wanted to see if I could right my system. And I got to tell you, it's been 3 weeks. My bowel movements are magnificent. I mean, they are flowing. They are regular. He's got a little bit of a problem, if I'm being honest. Not now. But yesterday, I got a big fancy party that I'm going to on Monday. Yeah, there's going to be no pillow talk on Monday. Going to a big radio industry party on Monday. So I was trying on, clothes, sport coats and stuff last night. Everything fits. And I haven't been working out. And I'm I'm not even particularly on a diet. And I'm oh my God. I go, this is just from 3 weeks of not eating any meat. And I mean, chicken, beef. I mean, all of that. I haven't been eating meat. And I haven't missed it. You know what I do? You know what I eat a lot of? I eat a lot of bean burritos. Just refried beans with peppers and, I dice up peppers, red, orange, yellow, green. And then I dice up onion and a little garlic. You toss it all and you throw that in a flour tortilla that I smeared some beans. Oh, God, that's great. It's great. So I'm getting the protein and stuff from the beans. I'm not counting calories. And I don't get it. All the shirts that didn't fit me 3 months ago, dress shirts and whatnot, they all fit, including this one. That's enough about me. McGregor, Texas is trending. I'm just saying, try it. If you're an older guy and you're man, I can't seem to lose any weight. I'm working out. This weight loss with my shirts and how they fit me has been much faster than I've ever experienced it when I was running 2-3 miles a day and, counting calories. I'm not doing any of that. And my clothes, there you go. Now we're back to Jeff Glenn. Cancer. That's probably what it is. That's it. It's not because I've radically changed the kinds of foods that I've eaten over the last month, 3 weeks or so. It's probably cancer. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for making that a reality. Jeff was made a joke earlier, and now it seems to be coming true. McGregor, Texas is trending. A big mass shooting in McGregor, Texas. McGregor is outside Waco. I think they say it's I don't know. Let me find out exactly where it is, so we'll give you the full story. This is coming out of Houston, though. They're saying Houston. This isn't Houston. If it's just outside Waco, that's more Dallas than Houston. Maybe even Austin, if you want to make that argument. McGregor, Texas, 5 people were shot dead in the Central Texas residential neighborhood Thursday. The incident happened at about 7:30 a.m. Thursday morning in McGregor, about 20 miles southwest of Waco. An armed man shot at police officers who arrived at the scene, McGregor Mayor Jimmy Herring told KCEN-TV. Officers returned fire, but Herring didn't say if the suspect was wounded. However, the Texas Department of Public Safety said a suspect in the shooting was captured alive. No motives, relationships, and other details were immediately determined, and authorities were withholding identities until relatives could be notified. However, the McGregor Independent School District issued a statement that it had sent counselors to various campuses. In light of today's events, is a quote now from the school district, in light of today's events, and out of respect for the victims, all MISD activities, including the JH Pep Rally and all JH and sub-varsity games, have been canceled. Sub-varsity. Can't cancel Friday Night Lights, not in Texas. Varsity, they're going to play. Screw your feelings, varsity. But yeah, junior varsity and those kids, they might be traumatized. So the suggestion there that the school getting involved is that possibly one of the 5 victims was maybe a student, maybe multiple students, maybe a family. Who knows? Terrible, terrible story. Tua Tagovailoa is trending because of the incident that occurred last. Jeff Glenn. Did your dog need to go for a walk? Does your dog need to go? Because we're talking about a head injury. You want your dog? You need to take him out. Okay. I'm probably going to spend about 45 seconds on this. So you're gonna want to tune out. Yeah, Jeff. Come on. Oh, I just broke my microphone. Okay. Well, this is why I have extras. All right, well, we'll just do it like this. If you watched the game last night, it was a pretty frightening scene. The Miami Dolphins taking on the Cincinnati Bengals on Amazon Prime Thursday Night Football, which, by the way, Amazon Prime Football's presentation is spectacular. Oh, is it good? Why is it so much better than everything else? Why? Because when you tune into a game on Amazon Prime, you'll see the banner. You'll go to Amazon. It'll say watch live Thursday Night Football, and you click on it. And no matter what time you're tuning in, the first option you get is, do you want to watch this game from the beginning? And I'm like, yes, I do. Because you can watch it from the beginning, and then they let you skip through all the commercials. They let you skip through the timeouts. They let you skip through. Oh, it's magnificent. Look, all you networks that air football. There's a new boss in these streets, kids. Come on now. Amazon Prime is doing some stuff. They're making the whole interactive experience of watching an NFL football game completely different. So last night, Tua took the field. Tua's having a great year. They were 3-0, the Miami Dolphins. He got banged up pretty good last week against the Buffalo Bills in a shocking victory that Miami had over Buffalo. He got knocked to the ground pretty good, and he hurt his head. But, you hurt your head. There are now concussion protocols that the NFL make you go through, and the team doctors, theoretically, the team doctors are, on the side of the angels here. They're going to make the right decision for the individual, not necessarily because the team is 3-0 and they need their quarterback. So it was an obvious head injury that he sustained against the Buffalo Bills. He got up, he was woozy, he was like moving, he came out for a few plays, he re-entered the game, and the story was it wasn't his head, because that would mean he has to go into concussion protocols automatically. That would trigger a whole bunch of things, which would mean he wouldn't have played on Thursday night. No, it was his back. It's his back. The Miami doctors, it's his back. So that was a big controversy leading into this game. It seemed like they were lying. And wow, that probably might not be a big deal if he gets through the game and everything is fine. But imagine if he suffers a second consecutive head injury in games. That could be bad. Well, it was bad. It was the absolute worst case scenario. He was thrown to the ground, sacked just before halftime. He was thrown with a ferocity that on its own is like, wow. And he basically cranked his head, the back of his head, bam, right on the ground of the turf there at halftime. And everyone watching on TV saw a demonstration of what happens when the human neurological system freezes up for a moment. He was laying there on the ground, not moving. His hands were the truly disturbing. And Amazon Prime is being criticized for showing this. I don't think they should be. I think it's a live event that's unfolding in real time. That's what we get with sports, right? His hands were extended. He was locked in place, like he had absolutely no movement, and like rigor mortis had set in, and his hands were outstretched into the air like this. And, it was immediately pointed out that is a sign of a neurological injury when your entire system just kind of, I thought, when I looked at it, I thought, oh my God, he has broken every finger on both hands. because his hands were all squirrely. They were like going in, his fingers were in crazy directions and they were all twisted and it looked really bad. And then it became, oh my God, it's not his hands. That's a reaction to a head injury. Miami Dolphins Tua Tagovailoa sustained neck and head injuries after being slammed to the ground Thursday night. The Dolphins said Tua was conscious, had movement in all of his extremities, and was taken to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center for further evaluation. He was chased down and sacked by 6'3", 340-pound Josh Tupoa with about 6 minutes left in the half. While on the ground, his hands froze in front of his face. It was disgusting. It was heartbreaking. It was gut-wrenching. Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa sustained neck and head injuries after being slammed to the ground Thursday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. Tagovailoa, this name is so hard for me to say, even though I know how to say it. Let's see. He was spun around and thrown to the turf while on the ground. His hands froze in front of his face. He remained down for more than 7 minutes before being loaded onto a backboard and stretchered off the field, taken directly to a University of Cincinnati hospital. Dolphins players gathered around as he was rolled off. Let's see here. Coach Mike McDaniel says, I couldn't tell. It wasn't the same guy that I was used to seeing, McDaniel said. It was a scary moment. He was evacuated for a concussion. He is in the concussion protocol, but he is being discharged from the hospital. It's an emotional moment. It's not part of the deal you sign up for. His teammates and myself were very concerned. Where is it? The 24-year-old Tua was suffering from a sore back and was listed as questionable for most of the week ahead of this game. Sore back. Wasn't the head injury we saw him take. It's a back. He briefly left last Sunday's game against Buffalo after appearing to be disoriented by what the team originally said was a head injury, but then changed it to a back injury. The team in Tagovailoa said after Sunday's game, the quarterback had a back injury that caused his awkward stumble and fall after he was slammed into the turf. Now, see, that's just, they were 3-0. They're 3-0. They want to win. They knew that if they said it was a head injury last week, that he would have to go into concussion protocol. It would trigger all kinds of mandatory things that the league has put in place. So they just said, no. You know what? I know we said it was a head injury, but nope, it's a back injury. And then he played on Thursday night. And then we saw what happened to him last night. So what we're looking at here is a guy who may have suffered 2 serious concussions within a 5-day period. Hall of Fame Shannon Sharp tweeted, that's a serious injury. Tua shouldn't have been out there with Sunday, Thursday turnaround. Sometimes players need protecting from themselves, said Sharp. Yeah, so that's the big discussion. The big discussion is a lot of people going, I told you so. And, just let's hope he's all right, because 2 serious head injuries. 2 serious Sunday and then a Thursday night game. Sunday he was injured. It was an obvious head injury. They even said it was a head injury, and then they changed it to nope, just a back. And then it happens again last night, and it was much scarier. It was the scariest one I've ever seen. I've never seen a player lock up like that, where their whole let's go. More football, Jeff. You know what? I hope that dog is enjoying its extended walk, because here's more football. Although it's not about football at all. It's about Gavin Escobar. Gavin Escobar has passed away, Dallas Cowboys former tight end. 31 years old, man. 31-year-old former NFL tight end, former Dallas Cowboy Gavin Escobar died yesterday while rock climbing. What are you doing, man? Why climbing the stuff? It doesn't look like you should be able to climb that. It looks like if you tried to climb that, you could fall and hurt yourself and possibly die. Well, that's what happened. That's these thrill seekers. I don't get it. What a tragedy. Leaves babies, leaves a former Dallas Cowboy tight end, Gavin Escobar, who was picked in the 2nd round of the 2013 NFL draft, has died after an apparent rock climbing accident in California. He was just 31 years old. Officials say they received a report of 2 injured rock climbers at Taquit's Rock in Idlewild at around 12:25 p.m. on Wednesday. When they made it to the scene, they say they found that both victims had died. Escobar was ID'd as one of the hikers. A 33-year-old woman, Chelsea Walsh, was also ID'd as the other. Further details surrounding the cause of death were not immediately available. Let's see here. He was a fireman. He retired after 7 years in the NFL. He'd become a fireman. He'd moved back to his hometown in California. Our Cowboys released a statement. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Gavin's family. Well, it's kind of a generic one. San Diego State University head football coach Brady Hoke said in a statement, I know his wife Sarah and daughters Josie and Charlotte were everything to him. Gavin was a great man, father, son, and teammate, and will be deeply missed by all. Yeah, he retired from football and became a fireman. That's pretty cool. You know, you got a nice little nest egg that you get from like 7 years of playing in the NFL. Bank that, buy a house in your hometown, become a fireman. You know, 31 years old, had his entire life in front of him, had a wonderful family. What a tragedy. Why are you climbing rocks, man? You were up on that cliffside, all right? At no moment did you think, you know, I've got like 4 little girls here. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. That's a tragedy. That's the tragedy is that he didn't consider that, you know, this was a really dangerous thing for a father of 4. That's sad. Oh, God, you hear the dog? Oh, my God, the dog is going to make me. She wouldn't come in earlier. I like to bring her in before the show. She wouldn't come in today. And why would she? It is gorgeous. It is freaking gorgeous outside. Apple exec. This is a weird story, okay? Not a weird story. I mean, it's a understandable story, given that it's 2022. But, man, oh, boy. We're going to have to think through this one. Senior Apple executive exits after crude remarks on women go viral on TikTok. Let's see. A key Apple Inc. supply chain executive, Tony Blevins, he's so high up, he answered to Tim Cook. Tim Cook was his immediate, so he was a big Apple exec. A key Apple supply chain executive, Tony Blevins, is reportedly leaving the Tim Cook-led company. Blevins' exit comes after a TikTok video featuring him making uncharitable remarks about women went viral. Well, I mean, obviously, they recorded him saying women need to be barefoot and pregnant. Why did we ever give women the vote? I won't fly on an airplane that has a woman pilot because if it's that time of the month, they're going to be emotional. You know, obviously, those are the kinds of things that he was captured saying that would lead to him losing his job. Sure. No, nothing. Nothing like that. You know what he was caught saying? He was at a golf outing and he had a beer in his hand and he was just making conversation and he said about himself, I have rich cars, play golf, and fondle big-breasted women, but I take weekends and major holidays off. Fire him! End his life! End his life! He was obviously being totally serious when he made that remark. Well, come on, man. Okay, it's a little bit 1990s shock jockey, but it's certainly not anything that you need to end this man's career over. He's a man of a certain age. He makes these kinds of jokes, you know. Now, if it turns out that he has a history of harassing women, that's fine. Then you could put a whole thing together and you can make the case for me that, okay, this guy is kind of a... But if this is it, this is the whole reason why he... Look, far be it from me to defend a super rich, obviously privileged white man. But come on, man. Seriously. This is some BS. So he had to be fired. He had to be fired because he says he fondles big-breasted women. What if his wife is a big-breasted woman? What does that, why are those words? I have rich cars, I play golf, and I fondle big-breasted women, but I take weekends off and holidays. Ha, ha, ha. Blevins also can be heard. Oh, wait, there's more. Oh, really? This is it? Oh, but he also added, but there's a hell of a dental plan. That's what he said. I drive rich cars, I play golf, I fondle big-breasted women, and I take weekends and holidays off. But I've got a hell of a dental plan. That's it. That's all he said. And now we've got to end his career. The Apple veteran told Bloomberg, "I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize to anyone who was offended by my mistaken attempted humor." It was obviously humor. It was a bad joke. People can't have fun. People can't be loose. We got to understand that there are a lot of dudes and a lot of people, not just dudes, people who do not fully embrace the overreaction of the modern world. Well, what happened to like free speech? Why can't you just be a pig? Why can't? Now, I understand how this works. If you are outed as a pig and you work or are associated with a brand or a company that is reliant upon public favor, then yeah, I can see that. This guy is a supply chain executive at Apple. You know, he's not, I don't get it. I don't get it. Last year, the Wall Street Journal described him as one of the most important executives in the entire company whose job is badgering suppliers to get their costs down. That's another thing. So that's his personality. So his entire job is to badger people. He's can we get it cheaper? That's his thing. So that's how he's geared. So he's probably a type A personality who's got a lot of hot takes. There you go. So he's gone. So that guy's gone. Again, can we focus on the guys that are actually raping and touching and causing really horrible, hostile work environments for the people that work with them and stop playing this gotcha game? Got another one. We got another one. And look at this one's at a golf outing. Oh, white man at a golf outing saying he likes to fondle large breasts. Let's end his career. It's not like he's going, I don't think we should hire black people. All right, that I understand. Thoughts like that, I get. But come on, man. Stupid jokes. You can't just go, okay, he's an idiot, and move on. Here's some good news. Here is some good news trending today. If you're like me and a big fan, Community, the TV show Community. God, I love Community. Me and my kid love Community. Community is one of our default shows. Like if we're eating and we got to put something on, he will almost always suggest Community. My 13-year-old has seen every episode of Community probably 5 times. He has seen Community the way I saw the Brady Bunch, the way I watched it. You know what I mean? Because it was all that we had and we just saw every episode 50 times. Community is gonna be a movie. That's right. Community movie is finally happening at Peacock. All right. So it's gonna be a Peacock movie. It's fine. It's whatever. I keep trying to watch Peacock and I can't. But this I will watch this. I will watch the Community movie on Peacock. Now the big question for fans of Community, who's coming? Who's coming back? Because there are people who were associated with the show Community who are having kind of big moments for themselves. And can they be lured back for a 2-hour movie on Peacock? I don't know. We'll see. Pop the champagne. Maybe it's not the darkest timeline after all, as 6 seasons and a movie is finally becoming a reality. Peacock has ordered a movie based on the Dan Harmon comedy Community, bringing back original stars Joel McHale, Danny Pudi, Allison Brie, Jillian Jacobs, Jim Rash, and Ken Jeong to check in on what the gang from Greendale has been up to since the show ended in 2015. Now, you'll notice there are a few names missing there. Chevy Chase has not been mentioned. I don't know if they're going to want to bring Chevy Chase back. They all hated Chevy Chase. Donald Glover. Donald Glover is probably one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. If you consider that he's a world famous hip hop star as his alter ego, Childish Gambino, also a comedian as Donald Glover, creator, showrunner of Atlanta, which is, heralded as one of the greatest 30-minute television shows. Can't even call it a sitcom. I don't know what Atlanta is, but it's crazy, crazy creative. So who knows? Donald. Oh, and the other one. I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but she's having a bit of a moment too. Speaking of, was she in the Dahmer movie? I don't know. Community creator Harmon is behind the movie as executive producer and writer, along with Andrew Guest. Joel McHale, also serves as executive producer, as do Russ Krasnow. We don't care. This is Variety. They always give you the shit we don't care about. 6 seasons and a movie started out as a cheeky line from Community's early seasons and quickly ignited a passionate fan movement for this iconic, hilarious, and cool NBC comedy. Yeah, it is. I don't know about the cool. It is really a funny comedy show, though. Let's see here. What else do we have? We're incredibly grateful that 15 years later, we're able to deliver fans this promised movie and can't wait to get to work with Dan Harmon, Andrew Guest, and Joel McHale. Further details, including a director and an estimated premiere date, have not yet been shared. Also unanswered is whether other key Community cast members, including Yvette Nicole Brown and Donald Glover, might still make an appearance, or at least a cameo. It's probably safe to say Chevy Chase, who had a falling out with the show and whose character eventually died, won't be back. Did they kill off Pierce? I don't remember them killing off Pierce, but that would make sense. You can't bring if the idea of the Community movie is that it's going to take place 7 years after they've exited Greendale Community College. If that's the deal, then yeah, he's dead. He's gone. Community experienced quite a roller coaster ride during its original 2009 to 2015 run. The show launched in the fall of 2009 on NBC, where it seemed to perpetually live on the bubble. Pitched as a comedy about strangers who bond in a community college study group, the show soon became an experiment in deconstructing the sitcom form, earning critical acclaim and a loyal fan base for its meta jokes, takes on TV tropes, and its unique characters. Community was really sort of a genre-bending show. And that's one of the reasons why I liked it, because it was not according to Jim. It wasn't Home Improvement. Was totally different. They took chances. The other show too that NBC, and I don't think that this show would have existed without Community, is another one of the just great sitcoms of all time. The Good Place, which was also an NBC show that also experimented with the same kind of non-traditional storytelling ideas that Community did. Washed-up lawyer Jeff Winger, as played by McHale, was the de facto leader of the group, along with Abad Nader, Danny Pudi, Britta Perry, Jillian Jacobs, Annie Edison, Allison Brie. Oh, did I love Adderall Annie? Oh, my God. Shirley Bennett, as played by Brown. Troy Barnes, played by Donald Glover. Pierce Hawthorne, played by Chase. Plus teacher-turned-student Ben Chang, who is Ken Jeong. Is John Oliver? Other actors who played substantial roles on the show include John Oliver, Jonathan Banks. That's right. Mike Ehrmantraut from Better Call Saul was on it. John Oliver, Jonathan Banks, Paget Brewster, and Keith David. After season 3, NBC and Sony worried the Community hadn't drawn enough of a mainstream audience. They fired Harmon and brought in a new executive producer. But after season 4, dubbed the gas leak season, alienated fans, Harmon, thanks to heavy lobbying by McHale and the rest of the cast, was reinstated as showrunner. Season 4, that's funny because that's my son has been affected by that. My son skips over season 4 entirely. He's like, we don't watch season 4. I'm like, okay, cool. All right. They kicked out Dan Harmon. My kid is just like me. He knows all of this stupid stuff about the stuff that he likes. And they kicked out Dan Harmon because Dan Harmon wasn't getting along with the executives. Dude, you're 12. Well, he's 13 now, but this was a conversation. Dude, you're 12. You should know about the power structure in producing a television show. You shouldn't know about executive producer and showrunner strife. That's not something. Community was light years ahead of its time when it premiered on NBC in 2009, and we are thrilled to once again visit the brilliant mind of Dan Harmon, Andrew Guest, and the impeccable cast, said Jason Clodfelter, co-president of Sony Pictures Television. We are grateful to Peacock, our partners at UTV, and to all the zealous fans who have cherished this iconic show. So it's very exciting times if you're a fan of Community, as I am. That's why Community is trending today. Canada is trending. Why is Canada trending? Canada is trending because it's We're Sorry Day. It's the national holiday in Canada, where you're supposed to apologize to Indigenous people, and we're sorry. That's why Canada's trending. It's International Podcast Day. International Podcast Day today. Good time for me to remind you that these shows are all brought to you by RadioMisfits.com. They've got something. They got a show, original content creation. It's our boy Ed. It's his labor of love that he's been on the podcasting thing for, man, way before. I think the first person I ever heard say the word podcasting was like Ed. And it was in like 1992. No, I'm kidding. But it was like, so RadioMisfits.com. It's International Podcast Day. How about just go over there and check it out? Just check it out. Just right now, if you're listening, just go over there, check it out. You don't have to listen. Just give them a click. Whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of good shows. Nick DiGiulio's show is good. There's a good soccer show with my friend Rick. There's a whole bunch of good stuff over there. Check it out. RadioMisfits.com. And also, all those shows are available, the places where you normally get your podcasts, but go check out the homepage. Just go check out the main thing. Happy International Podcasters Day. Tesla is trending. Tesla is trending because later today, Elon Musk is going to unveil his prototype robot that is going to enslave all of us. That's right. Today, what time is it? He made a robot. Elon made a humanoid robot, and he's going to unveil it today. Let's see what this says. Robo reveal. Tesla AI Day will be streamed live. Elon Musk to reveal new Optimus robot at 2022 tech event. Start time and how to stream is revealed below. Tesla AI Day is officially here, and Elon Musk says the live feed later will include lots of technical details and cool hardware demos. The Tesla humanoid robot Optimus, for which the event was delayed today, will undoubtedly be the most anticipated presentation. The annual Tesla AI Day is a demonstration of the most cutting-edge technologies from all of the company's operating divisions. While Tesla cars receive the majority of press attention, the company has a wide range of other applications and products that it constantly is developing and improving. Investors watch to learn about the new methods Tesla is attempting to make money. Investors watch to learn about the new methods Tesla is attempting to make money, while the tech-obsessed keep an eye on Tesla. That's a weird sentence. The event will be live streamed, and viewers can watch on Tesla's YouTube channel starting tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Why are we learning about Elon Musk's restaurateur brother now? All right, well, there you have it. He's got a robot. It's creepy looking. Looks like a it's all smooth. There's no face or anything. It's just anyway. There you go. So if you're interested, go to the Tesla YouTube page at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time today. Trevor Noah is trending. Trevor Noah, host of The Daily Show, been hosting The Daily Show for the last 7 years. He's announced that he's leaving The Daily Show. I stopped watching The Daily Show. I watched The Daily Show nightly when it was Jon Stewart. And then they brought in Trevor Noah, and I watched for a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. It was nothing against Trevor Noah, other than the fact that it wasn't Jon Stewart. And, I enjoyed the way Jon Stewart did The Daily Show. They brought a new guy in, and I was like, that's not the way Jon Stewart would have told that joke. So I was, I bailed on it. And I never went back. But I don't think I went back. I don't have any dislike for Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah, I've seen his comedy, and I've seen him in interviews. He seems like a really nice guy. He seems like a good dude. I don't know. I just never watched the post-Jon Stewart Daily Show. Now, the question is the Daily Show going to go off the air? Which, I mean, why not? What's the point? Do people really watch appointment TV on basic cable every night anymore? I don't know. Maybe. Trevor Noah is nearing his last laugh on The Daily Show. The comedian, who came out of near anonymity to take over the program from Jon Stewart in 2015, plans to exit the flagship Comedy Central series after 7 years. It saw him transform the show for a new generation of viewers who are more at home on social media than they are cable outlets and broadcast networks. Noah revealed his plans to an audience at Thursday evening's taping of the program in New York, saying that, "I've loved hosting this show. It's been one of my greatest challenges. It's been one of my greatest joys. I've loved trying to figure out how to make people laugh, even when the stories are particularly shitty on the worst days." It was not immediately clear when his actual exit would take place or whether the Paramount Global cable networks had begun to consider a successor. "We are grateful to Trevor for our amazing partnership over the past 7 years. With no timetable for his departure, we're working together on next steps." So that tells me that this is him. He wants to leave. He's like, yeah, I'm going to get out of here. I don't know when. So they're just preparing for that. As we look ahead, we're excited for the next chapter in the 25-plus year history of The Daily Show as it continues to redefine culture through sharp and hilarious social commentary, helping audiences make sense of the world around them. Noah's plans to depart surface as TV's late-night roster has begun to shrink. And I go, yeah, who cares? Blah, 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 blah. Who are they going to bring in? Maybe Jordan Klepper. I'd be good with that. I like Jordan Klepper. Is he still around there? He's funny. Roy Wood. I would watch Roy Wood. I like Roy Wood. He's funny too. Let's see if we get any names here. Or maybe they'll just, go again with another anonymous guy. So there we go. Keeping an eye out. Who will be the fourth host of The Daily Show? The fourth. So Trevor Noah was the third host of The Daily Show. He replaced Jon Stewart. So we're going to have four. Maybe we'll have four. Maybe they'll just shit can the whole show. I don't know. I remember hating Jon Stewart. I remember Craig Kilborn was amazing as the original host of The Daily Show. Craig Kilborn was hysterical. He came out of not out of nowhere. He was on ESPN. He was a sports guy. And I remember the sports guy is going to do that. Is this going to be like a sports show? And then it turns out Craig Kilborn was hysterical. He totally crushed it. And then he did something that I find really admirable. Craig Kilborn made a whole lot of money in a very short period of time. And then he said, "I'm out. I'm going to go buy a house in Oregon and live in a normal place with normal people. I don't want to be a celebrity. I've made enough money. I've got the proverbial FU money. He never did anything else." Craig Kilborn has completely, I admire that. I like that. He didn't need to be the most powerful. He didn't need to be some super celebrity. He struck gold, made a lot of money. And then at 40, he was like, "I'm out. I'm going to go get married and have kids, coach Little League Baseball. And, I don't know, maybe command my neighborhood watch." So good for him. But I was not, when Jon Stewart came in, I was not. Do you remember 5 Questions? I always loved that. That was the bit that Craig Kilborn did, where he would have a guest, and at the end of the interview with the guest, he would do 5 questions, and they were just 5 random questions. I always thought that was an interesting little device. All right, so it was Craig Kilborn, Jon Stewart, and again, it took me a while to warm up to Jon Stewart, and then Trevor Noah, and I never even gave Trevor a chance. Chances of me giving the new guy a chance, very slim. I might watch episode 1. I'll watch episode 1, and I'll make all of my decisions on how this is either good or bad based on that, which is so stupid. Don't watch. If you're ever going to give a show a try, especially if it's a nightly show, like a radio show, I love it. Yeah, I tuned in. I heard it once. I didn't like it. Nah, first of all, don't listen to the first show of anything. Listen to the 100th show, okay? If it can get to 100 shows. Listen, then wait till they know what they're doing. Wait till they've figured out what the whole vibe is. So maybe I should check back in with Trevor Noah now that he's announced after 7 years that he's leaving. I should check back in on that show and go, okay, now I'll see what he's doing. Texas State Fair is trending. Of course it is, because it's Texas State Fair days. State Fair open today. Is today the opening day of the Texas State Fair? It's so cute when other people say, oh, we've got a state fair. Where are you from? I'm from Nebraska. Our state fair is so much. Yeah, you don't know what a state fair is. If you've never been to the Texas State Fair, you don't know what a state fair. The Texas State Fair is ridiculous. It is just, it ain't. You know what I mean? When you think of a state fair, you think of like folksy and, oh, now we're going to give the blue ribbon for the prettiest cow in the barnyard. That kind of stuff. No, that is not what the Texas State Fair is. One of the things, though, that I do enjoy about the Texas State Fair is one, the bees. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I got stung like 3 times. We were doing a live show from the Texas State Fair, me and my former partner, Kelly. And we're at a picnic table where they set up our remote. And we're like, where are all these bees coming from? It's another bee. We're swatting them away and all this kind of stuff. And then right in the middle of an interview, and I don't know who we were talking to. I think we were talking to somebody on the phone. And in the middle of the interview, somebody screamed, "There's a beehive under the table." And we looked under the table and there were just bees swarming everywhere under the table. And then I jumped and Kelly jumped and all the equipment went flying and the bees were like going all over. It was crazy. Yeah. Set up a radio remote on top of a beehive. That was fun. Okay, so a couple of the things, new foods. They got crazy foods at the Texas State Fair. And if you want to try something for the first time and don't mind spending $40 for a corn dog, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so stupid, the pricing at this place. I don't know. Some new food options. This is something we always do on the State Fair day. Number 1, this is in no particular order. These are just how they were laid out. Fried charcuterie board. A fried, it's not charcuterie. If it's this 2020 Big Tex Award-winning appetizer is filled with chopped mozzarella, salami, and green apples, tossed in herbs and balsamic vinegar. It's all topped with goat cheese and drizzled with honey. That doesn't sound good. I mean, I taste that, but I don't like honey. Number 2, crazy foods you can find at this year's Texas State Fair: Cajun lobster bisque croquettes. Because nothing somebody from Forney likes more than lobster bisque croquettes. We're curious about lobster meat and creamy brie cheese in a croquette. Each trio of croquette comes with a Cajun lobster bisque dipping sauce. That sounds good. Dough muff, DOH, dope-muff, dope-muff. It's a donut stuffed with Bavarian cream cheese, coated in banana nut muffin batter, and topped with pecan butter glaze. And then bananas and strawberries. That's your dough muff. Probably deep fried. Everything is deep fried. Cha-cha-chata. Cha-cha-chata is another thing. This is a twist on the horchata. My Mexican friends, I am so angry at you. How is it that I've been dining in your restaurants? I've been a friend to the culture. I have done all of the things. I now embrace Mexico. I used to think Mexican food was just kind of because I grew up with Chi-Chi's and Pepe's and not really good Mexican restaurants. And then I had your fine cuisine that you have shared with the world. And now I'm like, oh my God, Mexican food is. How come none of you told me about horchata? How come I had to go to a 7-Eleven and accidentally put horchata in my empty cup, at the fountain? How come? And then I went, well, what is this? What is this weird milky substance? And then I took a sip of it. I'm like, holy cow, this is delicious. It's like a rice pudding soda. It is unbelievably good. Why am I just now learning about horchata? And now every time I go to a Mexican restaurant and you see those bubblers, they look like they're filled with Kool-Aid or whatever. And it's like, blah, 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 blah. Now, that's horchata. And now I know that. I'm like, oh, you got horchata, but I have one of those. State Fair of Texas, they're offering a cha-cha-chata, which is a twist on the horchata. This milkshake comes with a churro straw and is topped with sprinkled cookies and deep-fried rice pudding bites. Man, that's what it is. It is. It's like a rice pudding soda. It's like if you like the flavor of rice pudding, not soda because it's not carbonated. Could it be carbonated? Where's my expert on this would be Adam because Adam seems to know, he knows a lot about this. Can you carbonate horchata? Like that. Is that something that's ever been done? Because at this point, I'm just, I do the non-carbonated at the, and you got to you can't do it as a big gulp. Because if you do it as a big gulp, then the ice will melt. It'll water down, and like 30%, the final 30% of it is just like trash. So you got it, and you got to get in a little cute little cup, and you just sip it. A little bit of ice. That's all. It's not carbonated. Byron says it's not carbonated. All right, there you go. Those are the 4 new food items that are burning up the Texas State Fair. What a day. Can you imagine being at the Texas State Fair today? Look at this. This is, good Lord. Just, oh my God. Hey, is there an SMU game tomorrow? Hold on. So I'm trying to think of things to do with my kid. It isn't going to be crazy expensive. Okay. Because if there's an SMU game tomorrow, we can go walk around campus and watch all the tailgating and all that stuff. SMU football schedule. Yeah, just bear with me. That's a good way to kill like a Saturday afternoon. Just walk around the tailgate. Games. What? They're playing Sunday? What? What is it? Sunday, October 2nd? Against UCF? All right, never mind. I don't know. I guess that's not going to be an option. Hyper Sting. Hyper Sting is trending. You know what the Hyper Sting is? Well, don't feel bad because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was until I saw it today. The Hyper Sting is a new supersonic jet that's being built. It promises to deliver passengers from New York to London in 80 minutes, travels at twice the speed of the old Concorde. I'm telling you, folks, the supersonic jet has to come back. There has got to be a way. I would really like to go to Australia. I really would. But based on current travel options, there's no way I'm ever going to Australia. It's like a 2-day. I don't want. My cutoff is about 5.5, 6 hours. However long it takes to get from New York City to London, or Dallas to Dublin, or whatever. However long that takes, 5, 6 hours. That's my limit. I will cross the North Atlantic. I will cross. That's it. And even then, it's like, oh God. When you fly over to Europe, they have the big map on the front of the screen, on the front of the plane, right? So you can all see where you are, and it tracks where you are over the ocean in your trip. God, do I hate that thing. Because in the beginning, it's fine because you take off and you see land and then you see the little blue water. But like 3 hours into that trip, man, and you look up there and all you see is that you are over water for as far. I hate it. God, it makes me nervous. That's why I need to take a couple of Xanax or Valium or whatever. And I need to do my ritual, my long flight ritual, which is find the TGI Fridays in the airport, get an order of their wings, because I love their wings. And I figure if I'm going to die, I'm going to eat something that I really like. So I eat their wings and then do a bunch of shots and then take my Valium. And then hopefully about an hour and a half, and then I wake up when I get there. That's my plan. But that's not how I can't do that. I can't. And I'm not going to Australia if it's going to take me 12 hours in an airplane. A new hypersonic jet might change that. Quick trip inside supersonic plane that could get you from London to New York in less than 80 minutes at speeds of 2,500 miles per hour. A new design has been unveiled for the Hypersting supersonic jet that would surpass the speed and size of the legendary Concorde. Hypersting is a concept plane that could whiz passengers from London to New York City in just 80 minutes in the near future. Who's building it? Looks like Virgin is because the is this another? Well, this one has some of the pictures of this plane. Some of them have Air France markings and some of them have Virgin Air markings. So I don't know what companies are behind it, but I imagine Branson will be behind it. The plane would travel at 2,486 miles per hour. That's twice as fast as the Concorde. Measuring 328 feet long with 168-foot wingspan, the aircraft is also nearly twice the size of the Concorde. Concorde was a brilliant piece of machinery, a noble experiment, but it put too many emissions in the environment, too much noise into our communities, and was too expensive to operate. See, that is the big problem with the Concorde. The problem with the Concorde is that it couldn't land anywhere that's landlocked. You couldn't land like Chicago, right? Chicago is surrounded by communities. You couldn't land because you would break the sign and they would shatter windows and there were all kinds of problems with this thing landing. So you had to come in over an ocean. You had to break the sound barrier over an ocean so that there were no problems. And that was one of the big problems with it, which is why it limited where you could actually take the Concorde from. But this plane promises that that's not going to be an issue, that it's got a whole new operating system. It's like really good with the emissions, which is important to some people. And the sound will allow it to be able to land at most American airports. The sound problem, the sound barrier issue. I thought, I thought we bailed on the supersonic jet concept. I really thought that the future of like global travel, like if you needed to get from Washington, D.C. to China in like 3 hours, I thought the way that was going to be was that they'd do rockets. I really thought that would be how we would do it. Because if you just shoot a rocket up into the sky and then bring it right back, that's like an hour, like an hour. You can get from Washington if you do it that way. They're working on it. I'm sure they're working on it. All right, that's going to do it for all of the stuff that I had prepared today. Once again, I want to remind you all, there is absolutely no chance you're going to hear mansplaining this weekend. There is no mansplaining this weekend. So please bear with us. It's not a problem. Don't worry. It's no mansplaining. Just you'll see. You'll see. But thank you I've received a couple of notes already from people like, no, don't worry about it. We've known about this. This is not a surprise. But if you are going to tune in this weekend, don't. And then we'll see you next weekend. We'll see you. We'll have all kinds of things to talk about starting on Monday. Actually, maybe not on Monday, because from what I understand, anyway, Monday's high noon show. Maybe we'll have something to discuss. There is no Pillow Talk show on Monday because I got invited to a super fancy party. I did. Yeah, Mark Cuban is throwing a super fancy party, and he invited me. I'll tell you all about it on Tuesday. Can't talk about any of it. There's stuff going on, folks. All I'm saying is that there are exciting things happening. What else do I need to mention? That's it. All right. One last time. This is it. This is going to be the last pitch. If you can tip the show anything at all, this will be the last time that we're going to pitch for it. Tomorrow is the first of the month. This was the last month that we needed to get through. You guys got us to this point. 1 year, you guys have been supporting these efforts, and you are no longer on the hook moving forward. We have figured out a way to make all of this, through some other things that I'm doing. This can all now be self-funded, and we can do whatever we need. And so thank you to everybody who got us to this point. However, tomorrow is the first of the month, and we do not have this month's bills covered. So we'll drop a little tip, something. You can do it at the PayPal. You can do it at Venmo. You can do it whatever, Cash App. A little something, certainly be appreciated. For those of you who have gotten us to this point, oh my God, you guys are so great. There is going to be a way that I'm going to pay y'all back. I'm not going to pay you back. There'll be a way that I'll come up with to show my appreciation. Everything from tote bags and t-shirts to a private party, maybe a big dinner somewhere. We'll all go out. Maybe we'll do something like at a pub. We'll throw a party. Figure out a way to do that. Someone suggested just do a pool party at the 1%er compound. Well, it's that's a possibility, but we got to fly that past the boss. So we'll see how that turns out. But last time. So if you can tip anything, that would be great. Appreciate the people who stepped up this week, because I know it gets so tiring. But it's over. It's over after we get through tomorrow. Oh boy. All right. That's it. We're done. Thank you, Melissa. Melissa's enjoy your party, Pugs. Very excited. It's at a place that I'm sure Adam Reyna is the only man. Schwartz is in the chat room. No mansplaining. Worst weekend ever. Yeah. He knows. That's my partner. That's Dr. Robert Schwartz of mansplaining fame. He knows. So this party that we're going to, Schwartz is going to, this party that we're going to is at a place called the Echo Lounge, which apparently it's Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban owns this place. It's attached to like the Dallas Mavericks complex there on Stemmons, right across from the American Airlines Center, adjacent to what would be the Dallas Mavericks world headquarters, which is right there, which is so funny because Cuban is such a classy guy and he seems to have like top tier taste in absolutely everything. And then you drive by the Dallas Mavericks world headquarters and you think, is that a shuttered Walmart that just looks like an old Walmart that they just say, I'm thinking Cuban would have a Crystal Palace, But this place is called the Echo Lounge. I've never heard of it. Do you know, Adam, do you know anything about it? I don't know. Adam goes to all these shows. He says, no shows I wanted to go to there. He says, nah, haven't been to the Echo. I was looking at, it's very nice. I was looking at the pictures of it. I mean, it's very nice. But it seems to me, because it is, the Echo Lounge is a teaming up between Mark Cuban and Live Nation. Live Nation, of course, controls all of the outdoor sheds, they're called. But, like Smirnoff. Do you even call it Smirnoff? I don't know, whatever it is. Whatever the place is, and Live Nation is the big concert promoter. So what they seem to be doing here is, for years, you had bands, not all bands that are signed and that are touring can play 30,000 seat arenas. So, you'd book them at local bars, local rock clubs and all that stuff. And Live Nation had to do all the negotiating with local bookers and all that kind of. This seems to be like Live Nation going, yeah, never mind. Let's just build little performance venues in every city so that we can, that's kind of a cool idea. I mean, this place looks pretty good. You can say, well, isn't that what House of Blues is? Yeah. But the House of Blues brand is very dated. It seems very 1990s. All right, that's it. Got nothing else. Tip the show if you can. That'd be great. We'll get through it. And then self-sufficient moving forward. Starplex. Jeff Glenn hasn't been Starplex in 50 years. Yeah, beautiful. Enjoy the day, man. Beautiful weekend. I'm going to have my kid. We're going to do things. You know what? This could be a Katy Trail weekend. This could be a gorgeous weekend to be out there on the Katy Trail. My kid likes that. All right. Just trying to think of what we can do. Adam Reyna, who is probably next to Ross Rubio, the biggest expert on venues. Adam Reyna says, House of Blues is the best sounding place in Dallas. That's over 1,500 people. That's sort of the, that's the rule with House of Blues. Every House of Blues I have ever been to has been just an amazing. The House of Blues in Chicago, it just sounds amazing. The House of Blues here just sounds amazing. House of Blues is a good venue, very good. All right, we're done. I love you guys. And we'll talk on Monday. April, you've been to the Echo Lounge? She says Echo sound is really good. Yeah, I would think so, because it was designed specifically as a small performance venue. So I would think it's not like they had to retrofit, an old Taco Bell into like a rock club. That's the problem you get with a lot of rock clubs, is that they exist in structures that weren't designed for music. But, this Echo Lounge seems like it was designed for music. Adam says Kessler is the best overall. Yeah? Okay. All right. You're the expert on that stuff, man. All right, guys, we'll talk. I got to do laundry. Byron agrees. Oh, you know what? Byron. Why? Byron is also an expert on these venues. That's what Byron does for a living. Byron is okay. All right. Sorry, Byron. I didn't mean to slight you. But Ross Rubio is a performer. He's a local rocker who's been in a bunch of big name local bands for years and years, and he's played just about everywhere. Adam is about the most ardent supporter of mid-tier music that I've ever known. Adam is always going to, and mid-tier, I mean, bands that are on the come up or bands that are indie label stuff. Byron, I didn't mean to slight you. Byron, you also know all this stuff. April says, yes, I've seen Ross Rubio at Will Call Bar. Comfort nest. I was just thinking about that. Like I really like Ross, and I really like Adam, and I really like Jeff. You know, the guys that I've hung out with that are in the chat room that I've known for years and years. And it's always lost on me that maybe you guys don't know each other. So that's another good reason to have like a party, just a night where we just all go out. Because I just assume that April and Jeff Glenn are old friends, right? Because they're in the chat room all the time. I don't know. It's a family here. It's a family. We're creating a family. All right, guys. All right, I'm out of here. Byron's very excited for the Beach Boys tomorrow. I'll tell you something about the Beach Boys, Byron. Pet Sounds is one of my favorite albums of all time. Brian Wilson was a mad genius. But I don't know if I have any love for the post Brian Wilson Beach Boys. I will say this: Pet Sounds was another one of the first albums that I made my kid listen to when he was very little. You know, he'd go to bed at night, and I would put on. Okay, so Nebraska, Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska was one that I would put on that would lull him to sleep. But also Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds was another one that he would fall asleep to. Things are going good. That is understood. All right, I'm out of here. We'll talk Monday at high noon. Have a great weekend. It's going to be amazing out there. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.